So the agenda is already up there. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a roll call of all the association members that are here. Make sure that we've got quorum. I need a volunteer, someone who can actually take the list of members and mark them off when people call. Thank you. Do you need a pen? There we go. So we'll start with that. Then we need to accept the minutes from the previous AGM, and I can circulate those. I've only got 9 copies, so maybe as people identify themselves as association members, we'll give one to you then, and it'll all happen in a rush. So the first people to put their name up as being association members, they will get the copy of the minutes. We're going to do the same with the financial report, and then there's going to be a secretary's report, a convener's report, which is actually just going to be a presentation or a speech from April. Then we need to elect the new committee. Where's John Mobbs?
He's here.
Oh, couldn't see you, John. John is our returning officer, and he's going to take over at that point, and then it'll be all done. So if we go through this really quickly, that should only take us about 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
So more time for beer.
So more time for beer. Then we need to do the co-op. And the whole reason we're doing this so quickly is to try and get it done quickly. So anybody in the room who is an association member, let's go round and Monica can check you off as we go. Monica, you're not an association member, are you? So, Ed?
Yep, I am.
Ed Langham?
Yep.
Rachel?
I am also, but I'm not on that list. It was brought to my attention that...
Rachel Bales, she's paid.
Thank you, no.
Sorry guys, this hasn't been updated in a week, so if you paid in that time, I'll just be checking.
Yeah, that's me too.
Yep.
Jessica. What's your last name? Pingala? You're just doing no chickens. Who are we up to?
Me? Yep, Louise. I should be on the list.
Did you say bench?
Yep.
Yeah. Louise is on the list actually, so it's... Give me the... Oh, yeah. Yes. John Mobbs?
John Mobbs, yes.
Yep. April Crawford-Smith? Yep. And we've got Tracy Cooper and Bronwyn Mauser on the phone.
Where are we up to?
Declan?
Declan Kush?
Yep. Go. Amy Karcher?
She should be added if she's not on there.
Jake Steele?
Jake Steele.
30th?
Jackie, you're not? Is that right? No. No. Sumit? Sumit?
No, I don't think he's current.
No, he's not. He's not a member.
Alright.
Nigel?
Wendy Chapman. Did I make it or not yet?
Yep, you were paid. You might not be on the list though.
So just who was before Wendy
Chapman.
Nigel. Before Wendy Chapman, it was Nigel Hancock. I should be on the
He
list.
should be on this list. He made the list, so he would have made sure his own name was on there. Robert Rosen?
I don't know.
Yep, Robert will do.
Yeah, and me,
Jake,
Tom
can you pass that
Knuckles.
around? I think that's the secretary.
So we need 13 members to make quorum, and it looks like we've got 13 members. Thanks, Monica. 16.
16.
Lovely.
Oh, yeah. Doing the phone? Yeah.
Thank you.
Great.
That is who is here. Done. All right, so I've just circulated around the minutes from the previous AGM. Who was there and can agree that that was an accurate record of what happened on the day, and maybe you might want to pass a motion?
I'll second it.
I left whiteboard markers on the whiteboard and they're gone.
Is that what this is? No, that's a flip chart.
No, there's none in there.
Just 350, do you have some? Glenn provides. Thank you, Glenn.
Thanks, Glenn. All the planning in the world, right?
When did you get a copy of the phone?
No, I didn't. Thank you.
Thank you. So sorry, who was going to propose that we accept those?
Amy? Or
Yeah. Motion raised by Amy. Anybody want to second it?
Yes, me, John Hobbs.
John Lobbs.
Second by John Mobbs. What's the mood in the room? How are we going? Does anybody have any concerns about those minutes? Does any voices that want to make themselves heard? If you see something that's not right, that's okay.
Is that also its name wrong?
Oh, your name is spelt in an astronomical way.
I know.
Yeah.
What just happened there?
So noting that someone's name is spelled wrong.
Bit embarrassing.
All right. Well, we'll test the mood in the room. Are we in unanimous agreement?
All in favour say aye.
Yeah.
Aye.
Yeah. We'll call that as passed unanimously. Well, I mean, we can vote if we need to, but obviously we do a majority vote arrangement here. So the next item is the financial report. So thank you to Sumit and Nigel and the rest of the team.
Irene, who couldn't find a babysitter.
And Irene, who couldn't be here tonight, for pulling that together. Do you want to talk to it briefly, Nigel?
Good question. I haven't actually prepared anything spoken.
Sorry.
I did put, the way that it's formatted is that all the notes are on the first page, and then the two reports follow. So the top part is just about how we go about our accounting practices briefly, and then the bottom is a report on talking about both the balance sheet and the profit and loss. The accounts that I wanted to draw people's attention to and might need explanation are given in notes on the right hand side. So you can read the notes. If you have any questions about this or any of the other line items, please feel free to raise any. You'll notice some of the changes. Mostly, the biggest difference in our financials from year ending 2017 compared to year ending 2016 is that in the 2016 financial year we got a large amount of grants. We haven't got that many grants since then. So there's a big difference in our cash flow from compared to our previous financial year. And that's reflected mostly in our balance sheet and the difference in our balance sheet. Are there any questions about that?
Well, as a sort of non-financial person, a treasurer with a conscientious hat, you look at it and think, you know, this is pretty well where we would like to be. We're not massively ahead, we're not massively behind.
Yeah, we are still a little bit reliant on external income. We don't quite have enough continuous income from, say, membership to pay ongoing costs such as insurance and other subscriptions as well. So we, at the moment, are operating on residual income from the 2016 year and some residual money from grants. In the future, I think we need to work on increasing membership or creating more external income, i.e. more projects. We get an income from the Pingala Cooperative for the work we do for the cooperative, and that probably in the future will be our main source of income apart from membership. And those are the two areas as the financial officer I recommend we work on, is membership and income from solar projects or projects.
Worth pointing out, this is our 4th AGM, and every other year it's been the same story. We've survived on external income. What has changed in the last financial year that we're reporting on is that we've created this new revenue stream, which is well, potential for a new revenue stream, which is services income from the host sites that we bring to the cooperative. So in the current financial year, we still have strong reasons to believe we will be successful in getting at least one host site across the line. That will create the income and allow us to pay our costs, primarily insurance and so forth.
Has the cooperative actually paid us any this year? I haven't identified it.
No, not
That's
yet.
what I thought.
At the moment, there's still an outstanding agreement between the cooperative and the association that I can't put in here until we actually get an agreement on that.
Yeah, and it'll be in the current financial year, not the financial year that we're
Yeah.
reporting on, we just
Most
reflect.
likely.
Yeah.
And do we know what that quantum is, or that's what's being?
No, we know it's just under $600 a year.
Mm.
I can't remember the exact figures.
And on projects of that scale, it's the same sort of. If you were to develop another Young Henry's, then you'd be talking about the same.
It's hard to say, yeah, because
Roughly.
the income will be comprised of a potential upfront commission payment and a more likely ongoing services payment. And that upfront commission payment could be quite substantial. It really depends on the deal that we're able to do with the customer, the solar company, and so forth. Yeah. All right, any more questions? Does anybody want to perhaps raise a motion about formally accepting those minutes?
I will.
Great. Motion, Wendy, seconded? Julian?
You said minutes, you meant
I think you meant financial.
Did I say? Oh, I'm doing a lot of things at once, I'll keep going. And any dissent? Yep,
To thank the financial guys, that's really.
yep.
Yeah, okay, well done.
Yeah. So we're going to say passed unanimously?
Yep.
Yep, thank you. All right. That says unanimously in case you can't read it. Secretary's report. I decided to copy the exact same format from last year because one of the main duties, I'm the secretary, and one of the main duties of the secretary is to look after the members, to be the public officer as well. And so I've really just reported on our membership plus other key metrics which reflect how we engage with community. It's pretty much been a year of static. Things haven't grown much. The membership has increased from last year's numbers, but they were down on the year before. So the first graph shows that we've kind of got just above 40 members as we have for the last 2 years. In terms of our community, our Facebook engagement our mailing list engagement has gone up by 5, but it goes up and down all the time, so that's basically remaining the same. And then in terms of our Facebook audience, that's gone up a modest amount, a couple of hundred, and so you've got the year before to compare that with. But our community grows when we do a site, and we haven't done a site since Young Henry's, and I think that's reflected in that. Memberships are being managed in our online accounting solution, so that's a pretty solid way of keeping track of it. Financial grade management of who is a member. Our mailing list functions are managed via MailChimp, obviously the number one mailing solution. Facebook does remain our primary social media platform, but not the only one, so we are on Twitter, and Instagram is probably where we have the second most amount of engagement. And our new website has been operational since about March, is that right? And we're getting good feedback on the new website.
Yeah, we got really good feedback.
Yeah. So that's the Secretary's report. Any questions on that? I don't believe it needs to be formally accepted, so we'll just minute that it was received. Okay? Yep.
Cool, so the next thing is the conveners report, which I usually do, because I'm the convener. I make a video every year, and that's usually a collage of all our photos and with a happy tune on top. I didn't do it tonight, we haven't got a projector, I didn't organise one. And also it's quite a tight evening, so I thought, let's just do a verbal update. And what the convener usually does, in my opinion, is give the non-measurable report. So that's what we've been leaning on, calling our social and relationship capital, and our reach in terms of our networks and who we're speaking to, how we talk about ourselves, and what achievements we've had to date that we can't actually measure. And so for us this year, we spoke at a number of conferences, got some amazing feedback. We've been spending a huge amount of this year, and Wendy, I'll give credit to you formally, Tom, if you can minute that, doing a business acceleration program with the Difference Incubator, and that was 6 months of rigorous and thorough analysis of Pingala, not only its business model, but our internal operations, our volunteers, our comms, everything. And it was hectic, it was fantastic, it was complex, it was challenging, But we've come out the other side of that. It just finished last week, where we actually pitched to a bunch of different investors in terms of grants or giving us their time or their expertise or their capital. And Tom gave that pitch last week and we won Best Pitch. It was just stellar, and so congratulations. Winning Best Pitch, Tim. And so on top of doing our weekly operations, there's the bell again. We studied ourselves, which is actually a really confronting thing to do, but a really powerful thing to do. But not only that, we've spent the year doing a lot of behind the scenes negotiation and talking to new sites. And right now we are sitting on some of the biggest opportunities I think that Pingala has ever seen. From things like 5 megawatt scale solar farms, to looking at solar pumps for farmers, to looking at potentially working with the music industry and getting musicians investing in our projects, to working with a number of councils across Sydney. This social and relationship capital is paying us off massive dividends. I can't measure it, and one day we will be able to actually give a formal report on what that looks like. And with this new framework from TDI, we've actually been able to talk about this in a way that feels more substantial than just a bunch of photos. So how fantastic is that? But we're sitting on some really exciting opportunities. Another one working with a franchise which could potentially unlock 1,500 sites just from that one relationship, and then another one that Tom's working on with a similar number. So through all of our work, through all of our getting out there and talking about ourselves, all these opportunities are coming to us, and I think that just goes to the credit of who we are, our values. We always lead with our values. Whenever I go to renewable energy conferences, and I'm the one of all the women there, which is 8% of the industry, it's confronting. I'm under 30, that's also confronting, and yet I get up there and talk about the human element of renewable energy, and we lead with that, and everyone in the room just goes, oh my God, that's so true. It's not about just technology, it's about the people behind the technology. And so it's been really great to get that feedback and to make sure that we're always coming across with what's important to us, and it's showing that people actually really care about that stuff. They don't just want renewable energy, they don't just want, well, not even just community, but also what is it about community, and that's been a fantastic exploration of who we are. So I think I'll leave it at that. I didn't formally write down a speech, but yeah, it's the convener's report for me is about reporting on all the things that make Pingala special and who we are. So in the room are a number of volunteers, we've got our board, we've got our investors. This is a fantastic mix of different people, and it just shows how awesome we are. So thank you for being you and for being a part of this and for helping us grow and just, showing us that we can do it. Thanks.
Thank you, April. So the next thing is we need to elect office bearers, and then we need to elect the new committee. So over to John Mobbs.
Okay, just let me get clear of how many officers we wish to elect and what the titles are. We've got a secretary, you've got a treasurer, do you have a chairman or a convener?
Convener. That's it. Just 3.
Okay. Well, I believe that there are nominations that are prepared to stand, so let's take them no particular order. Secretary first. Who is volunteering?
I would like to nominate for repeat position as secretary.
Tom is volunteering to be secretary. If we do not have a second nomination, I propose everyone approve Tom as the new secretary.
Agree.
Agreed. Thank you. Now we come to the treasurer. Do we have a volunteer to be treasurer? Again, that's Nigel. And do we have anyone else proposing for that position?
Happy to help someone if they want to. Not that it's a bad job.
You have to like spreadsheets.
Yeah.
Okay, if we have no other nominations, I suggest everyone gives approval to Nigel to be treasurer. Okay, and finally convener. April, I believe you wish to remain as convener.
I will.
On her record, would everyone recommend that she does it again? Please say aye.
Aye.
Here we are.
Easy.
All right, we need to do the committee. I think, April, you probably should talk to this. We don't currently have any nominations, and you've got a suggested process that you're probably the best position to talk to.
Yep. Just going to bring up the email with the names in it. So, to date, we've had quite large committees, which has been good. We're proposing to slightly shrink the committee this year to people who are in what we're calling the key people, who are running the daily operations of the association. I think there's 10 names, and I'll read them out in a second. So it'll shrink from 18 to 10. So this will give us just tighter decision making. Those that are in the daily operations on a weekly basis are the ones making the decisions. So it'll just give us that greater clarity. People won't be, gone for 6 months and then come back and try to get their heads around what has to happen. So for us, it'll be quite practical, and also maybe give us tighter security as there's such a, it's a smaller committee as opposed to 18. So. Should I read out the names, or does people want to say something about that before I do? And then we can have a group nomination. Is that going to be okay, John?
If you just read them slow enough for John to take them down,
Yeah.
then his notes will become part of the minutes. Sorry, David.
Is that sounds like there might have been some kind of issues in the past. Is there any kind of issues?
Well, just the only issue would be that the committee of 18, maybe 5 or 6 people haven't been as active as they would have been. They would have liked to. People have babies, people get new jobs, people have lives outside of this volunteer capacity. So for us, we're super grateful they can be involved at that level as it is. And some of those people have agreed just to step back. Ed's moving overseas soon, so he's gonna step down. So those sort of life events that mean people have less capacity, but no, we have no conflicts.
Part of it also came out of all this work we did with the Difference Incubator, the course that April was talking about, where they were questioning us on how we ran the organisation, how decisions were made, and they really got us to sit back and look at the way we were structured, and was that the most effective way, even though we had a very big emphasis on having a non-hierarchical structure, it still needed to be one that actually worked for the organisation. And one of the reasons that I'm not on this list, despite the fact that I've done an awful lot of, I've been one of the key people this year, is I've just got a full-time job. And I know that even though I want to still be involved, I'm not putting my name up for the committee because I can't make that level of commitment. And I personally feel that the committee is a group that you need to make a lot of commitment to be on.
I think it's also worth pointing out that we've got this other entity, the cooperative, which has investors and shareholders. An association is a very different type of beast. The role of governance in an association is important, but it's not as important as looking after people's investments. And so recognising that we do have a really strong board in the cooperative, reducing the association's committee to be the same as the team leaders effectively, which is what we're proposing, it seems like an appropriate way of running the organisation.
I would endorse any idea to have a small committee. I don't know how you can run an organisation with 18 people.
Thank you, Bill.
Okay.
Or yeah, we'll maybe survive today. Yeah, let's do it, shall we? The mass nomination is.
Okay. Jake Steele, Angela Johnson, and I can repeat them. Nigel Hancock, April, Brooke Smith,
Angela, next one.
Tom Knuckles.
Tom.
Yeah, we have to do because we're office bearers. Julian Casby, Rachel Bales.
Julian. Rachel.
Yeah, first names will do, John.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
all
we
you
committed
get.
it properly. And Louise Benson.
Louise.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So, we all agree that those named shall be the committee for the coming year.
I do.
Yeah, aye.
Thank you. There was No need to pause for effect.
All right, well, thank you, John, for being returning officer for another year. We will, at that point, officially call the AGM to a close, unless there's any final comments or questions. No?
Well, hang on,
Oh, sorry, Bill.
are we approving a dividend or anything like that?
Oh, so this was the association's AGM,
Yeah.
and we're now going to get onto the cooperative AGM.
Oh, that's
So, yeah, we'll get onto that right now.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Bill.